A Tesla Cybertruck was just seized by UK police in Greater Manchester. Not because it was speeding, and not because it was driving dangerously, but because it simply exists on British roads. And the public reaction? Well, that's where this story gets really interesting. Hi guys, my name's Desmond from the Electric Oracle, where we dig deeper into the fascinating world of EVs. Today's story isn't just about vehicle seizure. It's about what happens when revolutionary design meets traditional regulation head on. So, the incident. Well, let's start with what happened in Whitefield in Bury. A £48,000 Cybertruck, one of the first to make its way to British shores, was pulled over and seized. But here's the thing, this wasn't just some random stop. The vehicle was being driven by a UK resident with foreign registration and insurance. But that's not even the biggest issue. You see, because the Cybertruck weighs in at exactly 4,007 kilograms, that's not just heavy. You need a special license to drive that heavy. And unless you've passed your driving test before January the 1st, 1997, you need what's called a C1 license to operate this vehicle. And trust me, getting that license isn't just a case of filling out some paperwork. We're talking medical examinations, additional theory and practical tests, and over £1,000 in costs. But wait is just the beginning of our story. Let me show you something fascinating about the Cybertruck's design that most people have completely and totally missed. Even in my last video, I think they missed. You see, the UK and EU have specific requirements for pedestrian safety, and that's including a 3.2mm rounding requirement for bodywork. And just take a look at the Cybertruck. Let me ask you a question. Do you see anything sharp about it? Those angular edges aren't just a design choice. They're a fundamental safety concern in most European markets. Now, you know me by now. Let's break this down with some real numbers. You see, the average vehicle in Europe has body panels designed to deform upon impact, like I mentioned in my previous video. However, the Cybertruck, its 3mm thick cold rolled stainless steel body has almost zero give. And here's the thing, you see, in standard vehicle crash tests, we measure something called the Head Injury Criterion, or HIC as they call it. European standards require a HIC value below 1000 for certification. And with those sharp edges and rigid panels, the Cybertruck would likely exceed these limits significantly. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about the exoskeleton. Sure, it looks incredible, and if I'm honest, I am a massive fan. I don't mind saying that, but it's as tough as nails. And in a collision, you don't always want the toughest material possible. Sometimes you need some strategic weakness there. And you also need crumple zones that absorb impact and protect both occupants and pedestrians. You can kind of think of it like a boxing ring. You've got the ropes that flex and absorb energy when a boxer hits them. Now imagine if those ropes were made of steel cable. That's essentially what we're dealing with here. So guys, a quick question for you. At what point should regulators step back and let innovation take its course, even if it challenges our traditional safety standards? Let me know in the comments below. Now, the Cybertruck's body is designed to be virtually indestructible. And you know what? That sounds really great until you realise that in a collision, all that energy has to go somewhere. And if the vehicle isn't absorbing it through deformation, guess where it goes? That's right, straight to whatever or whoever it hits. And this brings us to another crucial point about the drive-by-wire steering system. You see, traditional steering systems provide mechanical feedback. And in essence, what you can do is you can still feel the road through the wheel. However, the Cybertruck's system is slightly different. It's all electric, which means it needs to meet specific European regulations. And currently, unfortunately, it doesn't. Now, what was the public reaction? Because that's kind of the title of the video. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. You see, the public reaction to this incident has been fascinating. Even looking back at the last few videos I did, I find it fascinating. Within a few hours of the news breaking, social media platforms lit up like a Tesla light show. And let me show some actual responses that showcase just how divided people are about this. You see, what happened is social media broadly fell into three distinct camps, and each one tells us something important about how we view automotive innovation. First, we had the Outrage Brigade. These are the tech enthusiasts and Tesla supporters who saw this as an attack on innovation itself. One popular comment read, "This is exactly why the UK is falling behind in tech innovation." Another argued, so we're fine with massive Range Rovers, but this is somehow a problem? Really? Do you know what? They have a point about acceptance of large luxury SUVs in this country. But then came the second group, the safety advocates, and I love these ones. And their arguments were just as compelling. There was even a former vehicle safety engineer that wrote, "This isn't about stopping innovation, it's about protecting vulnerable road users." And the safety group backed their arguments with actual regulations and data. They referenced our pedestrian safety standards, they cited accident statistics, they made their case with precision and expertise, to be honest. But the third group, they are the most interesting, and I love reading some of these comments. They're the ones saying, why are we even having this conversation? The Cybertruck was never meant for UK roads. And as one viral post put it, this is like complaining that an F-15 fighter jet isn't street legal. Of course it wasn't. It wasn't designed for that. You see, this group cut through the noise with a simple truth. Sometimes a product just isn't meant for every market, and this is a prime example. The reaction wasn't even just limited to social media. Traditional media outlets jumped in as well. Of course they would. Industry experts weighed in, and even politicians started commenting on the situation. Again, of course they would. Let me ask you a question. When did you last change your mind about technology, and what convinced you to embrace it? Let me know in the comments below. See, the story went from a simple vehicle seizure to a national conversation. A conversation about innovation, regulation, and the future of automotive design. So let's quickly look at some numbers that put this whole situation in perspective. And I mean real numbers, because they tell a really fascinating story. You see, the average car in the UK weighs around 1,500 kilograms, but the Cybertruck, that weighs 4,007 kilograms. And look guys, that's not just heavy, that's heavier than most construction vehicles heavy. And let me put that into perspective. A London double-decker bus weighs around 8,000 kilograms. So the Cybertruck is literally half the weight of a double-decker bus. But this is what really caught my eye. Let's look at the size dimensions. You see, the Cybertruck is 5,683 millimeters long and 2,413 millimeters wide. Now, the average UK parking space, that's 4,800 millimeters long and 2,400 millimeters wide. You see where I'm going with this? The Cybertruck would literally not fit in most UK parking spaces. But here's the real kicker. The UK isn't even a pickup market, so what? I don't even know why we're having this conversation. But let me show you some really fascinating data. You see, in the United States, pickup trucks make up about 20% of all vehicle sales. Check this out. The Ford F-150 has been America's best-selling vehicle for 46 consecutive years. 46! And in the UK, I hear you ask? Pickup trucks account for less than 1% of vehicle sales. And even those ones, guys, are mostly commercial vehicles. So let me ask you another quick question. Should automakers design vehicles for global markets? Or should they focus on creating unique products for specific regions, like Tesla has done with the Cybertruck? Let me know in the comments below. So here's the bigger picture, and this is my opinion. This reminds me of something really interesting. Something that tells us a lot about how we react to a dramatic change. And I know some of you might disagree with this, but stick with me here. You remember when mobile phones first came out? I know I do. I distinctly recall saying I would never ever get one. Who needs to be contactable all the time, I thought. And I wasn't alone. There was so many other people saying the exact same thing. In 1995, only 7% of UK adults owned a mobile phone. And do you know what the common argument was? It's just a gimmick. A regular landline is all anyone needs. That's what most people were saying. But you know the really funny thing? If you fast forward to today, 97% of UK adults own a smartphone. What does that tell us? In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think the same pattern keeps repeating with new technology. You see, when cable TV started charging over £100 for a subscription, highway robbery, everyone declared. Who would pay for TV when we already have free channels? Now look at us. And you know what? The average UK household subscribes to at least 3 streaming services. I'm not even talking about cable now, I'm talking about streaming services. Let's go even further back. When cars first appeared on the UK streets in the 1800s, they were met with intense skepticism. People argued that they were too dangerous, too noisy, too different from horses. Do you know what? There were even laws requiring a person to walk in front of the car with a red flag. Sound familiar? Another question for you guys. guys, what controversial vehicle design from the past do you now consider normal? And how long did it take you to accept it? Let me know in the comments. But what I will say is, this is what makes the whole situation even more intriguing. You see, Tesla isn't surprised by any of this at all. In fact, if you look closely at their strategy, this was entirely predictable. So for some of you out there, let's examine Tesla's global approach. In Europe, they lead with the Model 3 and the Model Y. They are compact and they're efficient, and they're absolutely perfect for European roads. Their European sales in 2023, over 250,000 units. And in China, it was the same strategy. Models tailored for local preference and requirements. But in North America, that's where Tesla takes the biggest risks. Why? Because the North American market has different demands entirely, different regulations, different expectations. You see, the Cybertruck was not designed in a vacuum. Tesla spent years analysing the pickup truck market. They didn't just throw a truck out there. They know that in North America, pickup trucks account for 20% of vehicle sales, and the average truck owner spends over $50,000. And also that brand loyalty is at 75%. And if you think about it logically, this is the market they are actually targeting. Not London, not Paris, not Berlin. So guys, look, the Cybertruck ban in the UK isn't really about innovation being stifled. It's not about excessive regulation. It's not even about safety standards, although they play a part. I actually think it's about something much simpler than that. It's about market fit. You see, in my eyes, the Cybertruck represents Tesla at its most ambitious, at its most revolutionary. And I know I'm going to get some comments, but that is how I feel. At its most American. And maybe that's exactly what it should be. In my opinion, not every single product needs to be global, right? And not every innovation needs to work everywhere. Sometimes success means understanding where your product actually fits, and also where it doesn't. So guys, you tell me what you think. Has the UK overreacted to the Cybertruck, or are we simply maintaining necessary safety standards? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you want to stay ahead of the EV curve? Every Thursday, I send out a comprehensive analysis of the week's biggest developments in the electric vehicle space. From breaking technical innovations to market movements that matter. The Electric Oracle Weekly delivers the insights you need straight to your inbox. It's free, it's focused, and it's made for people who want to understand where this industry is really heading. Find the link in the description below. My name's Des from the Electric Oracle. I thank each and every one of you for watching. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, even if you don't agree with the video, even if you hate the Cybertruck, I really do appreciate you watching my videos. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.